I've had 2 blanks on the bounce after chub on the River Severn. I'm still on flowing water, but a small brook that actually, eventually, via numerous other waterways, also enters the Severn, as indeed does everything depending on which side of the watershed that you're on. I used to live in Sedgley, right on the top, if you like, and that's the English watershed. So springs that used to come out just that side of where I lived, eventually via the River Tame and the Trent, would empty themselves into the North Sea. But just even yards the other side, the brooks, the small streams, the small rivers, and then into the Severn and the Bristol Channel. First drop, can't really call it a cast, into the brook. There's still a colour, especially once the water is more than just a few inches deep, but certainly not in flood like it has been. I'm pretty certain I'll catch something today. My friends, the sticklebacks, never disappoint me. They never let me down. They always come through. Just as I spoke those words, I lifted into that. I might not have caught any big chub over the last couple of days, but I've caught a big 3-spined stickleback this morning. In 3 months' time, today, the 21st of January to the 21st of April, I will be 60 years old. There's a couple of things, I do have plans for when I hit 60. A couple of things that need to happen. One, which is the first thing, that's oh no, I thought that was a tiny stickleback. It's a leaf actually, and without my glasses on, just for a moment, it looked like a tiny fish that I was lifting out of the water. The first thing, it's totally beyond my control. It will happen. It's possibly imminent, but it will certainly happen fairly soon. Then once that happens, then there'll be something else that is in my hands. It's in my control. And then I'll be able to kick on with my plans for when I reach the ripe old age of 60. You need plans in life, don't you? Just like you do when you go fishing or anything for that matter. And sometimes, as I've said, they're out of our control. We do what we can and then we have to wait for other things to drop into place. Another leaf there. I think we've had a little bit of stuff washed down with the floods that we've had in recent weeks. So some things are beyond our control, but they'll happen. We can do what we can, and we know that they will happen. But then there are things that are very much in the palm of our own hands, so to speak, that we can force through or push through or work through, because we're in control of that. I know it sounds rather cryptic. I'll probably share more in due course. But time flies. I can remember thinking to myself, 15 months today, 16 months today, 17 months today, I'll be 60 years old. Well, we're now down to 12 weeks or so. Soon comes round. Oh, that came off just outside, just off the water there. Drop back in. I think the fish are feeding today. But at least I'm not a blanker, am I? That's a good thing. And it might only be a tiny mini species, but it was caught by design. I'm fishing with a poacher's pocket. That's a tiny reel and a small 1 meter rod. It's telescopic, folds down to about 8 inches or so. Fantastic, brilliant. If you want to keep that in the boot of the car, if you're out somewhere for the day, do a little bit of fishing, maybe you're on holiday and you have a little brook or something nearby. You can't fish with it in the sea, of course, or anything like that, but rock pools, situations like that, excellent. I've got £4 line on there, but to all intents and purposes I'm fishing with £1 6 ounce bottom, because I've got a certain section there of that particular line strength. I've got a tiny shot as well, that just to take the bait down. That's a size 6 shot, and I've gone for a size 18 hook today, because I have been getting, especially when the fish are feeding prolifically, some of the sticklebacks just taking the hook in a little bit more than I would have wanted. So a size 16, able to eliminate that, and still with a maggot on the end, and it's working today. Just a couple of fish so far. That one that I caught initially was the biggest, but we'll see what else decides to put in an appearance. Walking back to the car, I just spent some time watching a muntjac in one of the fields alongside where I was walking. It was totally oblivious to my presence, but then I only reached down to get my phone, and it heard the noise and stood there for a short time, and I left it to what it was doing and moved on myself. I tried a few different places on the brook, had a little wander around. Some of these brooks are great to fish, if there's fish in there, of course. That's not always the case, but I have had some real surprises from them over the years. Why not check out your local brook? Perhaps you've never even given it a second thought, but there could be something decent in there. For me, on the one I've been on today, the 3-spine stickleback, that's about it really. But it was my target fish I caught, and so I'm a happy camper on my way home now. Shower off to Park Hall. It's the New Saints versus Connors Quay Nomads in the JD Cymru Premier this evening.